If monsters are knocking at your door, who cares if someone dies screaming with the tree bursting out of them? Anna and Dean, that's who. Anna and Dean, our protagonists in The Tainted Cup by Robert Jackson Bennet. It is a murder mystery fantasy that blends elements of Sherlock Holmes and Attack on Titan, which are two ideas that I find very awesome. There's a lot of very interesting things and cool in this book. One of them is being the Leviathans, those giant creatures that are lurking behind the Empire walls, which a lot of people are working very, very hard to keep out of. Second, there are houses that are grown. Three, there are AC mushrooms. These are supposedly for the super rich, but these mushrooms, you put them in some corner, they suck in all the hot or humid or warm whatever air, and then they exhale out cool air, which is just something that I found was like, wow, that's something that's very interesting. I don't think I've seen something like that before. So the book is in first person POV, focusing on Dean, Anna's assistant. The Watson to our Sherlock Holmes. Our Sherlock Holmes here is a chick, and she is very interesting. She's very cool. So our two protagonists, Anna and Dean, we follow the story through Dean's POV, first person, and he has a very interesting dynamic with Anna and how they conduct their investigations. First, Anna, of course, we need a quirky detective, a very quirky detective. That's Anna. She stays at her home. She detaches herself from everything for reasons. She's there. She doesn't want to get in. She doesn't want. It's not that she doesn't want to get involved. She just doesn't want to go out. And then Dean, being her eyes, ears, and mouth, he's the one who goes out to the scene. He's the one who conducts the interviews. He's the one who gathers evidence, ensures that he sees everything of interest. Dean is able to do this because he is an engraver, which is someone who basically can memorize everything and anything. Basically, Dean is like an Insta360 camera with unlimited storage. The interesting dynamic between them is where Anna has to trust in Dean, that he asked the right questions, he saw the things that needs to be seen. And then Anna, picks out all those memory fragments and then pieces them together and then solves the mystery just like any other Tuesday. I also find it quite interesting that Sherlock Holmes is always brought into the discussion, but seeing Anna, I'm reminded more of House, from House MD. I think they're more similar. They're more similar. Anna and House, they're both very sarcastic. They're both funny, and both of them don't personally get involved unless it's really needed. For instance, House, he basically stays in his office all day, all night, throwing that ball, playing with the ball, playing video games, or watching General Hospital. And Anna, she's just chilling in her home room apartment, and both of them tasks their assistant or peers, in House's case, to go out to collect evidence, to conduct interviews. Also, I am very much aware that House MD is basically an adaptation of Sherlock Holmes. I just wanted to point that out. One of the things I noticed in the book is that as you go forward into the story, the more the murder mystery itself becomes less prominent, and it's more about the characters we meet, especially Dean. It's through Dean that we learn so much about himself. His we get a glimpse of his family and what he does for them. We get a glimpse of his time in the academy, or I don't know what it's called, but his time in training to be in service of the empire, and his worries for the future, which is as an engraver. Being an engraver means that he can memorize everything and anything. And I mentioned earlier, he's like an Insta 360 camera with unlimited storage. But having unlimited storage doesn't necessarily mean that eventually the device itself won't glitch out and then break. And that's one of Dean's worries. He's worried about his future if his fate will become where everything kind of mixes up, and he won't be able to tell what's what's what anymore. And that those are just some of the concerns that made him very human for me, and very how I was able to relate with him so much, because I myself have memory issues, which makes it hard for me to talk actually. We also learned that Dean is dyslexic, which adds another layer into him, which adds another layer to his character. And I have seen people um, praise this side of him, and it was actually, how should I say, some people, I've read that people liked it, right? Because it was, how should I say, accurate, I guess. I'm not dyslexic, so I really cannot speak more about this. While the Tainted Cup focused a lot on Dean, I am hoping the second book, I think it's called A Drop of Corruption. Yeah, something like that. And I hope that this book, we, and I hope in this book, even if we're in Dean's perspective again, I would love it for it to focus more on Anna, and we get to learn more about her. And I'm really looking forward to that. So yeah, all in all, The Tainted Cup by Robert Jackson Bennet. It's a really good book. It was a delightful read. I just wish the red herring with the characters was a little bit more defined, but as I've said earlier, that the murder mystery itself is kind of toned down to give more character development for Dean. And of course, this book is well recommended. I have nothing controversial to say about it. It's a it's an enjoyable book, a delightful read. I have read Robert Jackson's Bennett's other books, A City of Stairs, Blades, and Miracles. But I haven't read the other one. I forgot its title. Foundry Side, I think, which I might be getting into someday. But yeah, for now, I guess that's all I have to say. Good book. Will you also give me this, please? Not A-okay. Check mark.